Fantastic, thank you. Yeah, I wanted just to start off, quick raise of hands, little poll here. How many of y'all own an NFT? That's impressive, 95%. How many of you have heard of Sorare? Fantastic. And how many of you are on Sorare, active on Sorare? Yeah, a few of those as well. Fantastic. Well, thank you all. No matter which of those categories you're in, hopefully there'll be a lot to learn from. I haven't said this yet, but when I first heard about Sorare in 2019, 2020, as you guys were getting funding, and we'll get into the whole story, but I had no idea how to pronounce it. I was like, it's French, is it Sorare, is it, what is it?
Same.
So just to say, you're all early here. This is a new and exciting space, and appreciate you taking the time.
Of course. Thank you, Jacob, and thank you to the Sportico team. We're very excited to be partnering with you guys. South by is one of our favorite events, and look forward to this conversation and all of the activations we're going to do this week.
Yeah, and we'll get into that as well for sure. I guess let's start here. I'm going to play devil's advocate for the beginning of this conversation, and I should say we're going to do questions at the end, so feel free to think of questions and we'll get to those as well. But as devil's advocate, I've played fantasy sports for 10, 15 years. Why do I need to care about blockchain, about Sorare? What are you guys doing that I can't get on the stuff I've been playing?
Yeah, so for background, what we've created at Sorare is a completely new category that doesn't fit within any of the traditional fantasy offerings that have existed in market to date. So what we built is we've leveraged the best of blockchain technology and created a product that combines collectibles, the old trading cards, as well as fantasy offerings, and mixes the gamification and the element of gamification with collectibles. And so essentially what users on our platform, you buy, today it's soccer, so soccer player trading cards, either through an auction that we're running daily or in the marketplace between users. And if you own enough cards, you submit them into lineups. And you can play into fantasy style weekly tournaments where the outcome of the contest or game is determined by the statistical performance of the players, and you can win prizing. So really what we've tapped into is mixing gamification, but adding in this emotional element of ownership, and that's driven really great engagement, and I think has created the best way to date for fans to connect with athletes and feel that they own a scarce piece of the player that they own, as well as being involved day to day in the performance on the soccer pitch.
Yeah, fantastic. Like I said, a lot to get into. So maybe let's start also with the story of Sorare, which I now know how to pronounce, because I think it is a little different in terms of how companies enter the NFT space and what they're looking to do to start with. So why don't you walk us through how Sorare got to here?
Yeah, so the company, and it's been very quick, that the life cycle of the company to date. The company was founded in 2018 in Paris. It's a French-based startup. The first product launched in 2019 with the Belgian Pro League. And then in the height of COVID, we raised our Series A from some of the top tech investors in the world, Benchmark and Excel. And then last June, we raised our Series B, which was the largest tech raise in French history, and what I believe is the largest Series B in European history, which has put us on a path to hypergrow from here. The growth has been, and we're just getting started with this.
Yeah.
And we've now surpassed 1 million registered users. We have 230 licensing partners, and we're really just getting started. So, and the incredible thing is the growth to date has been all organic. We haven't really gotten into paid marketing just yet.
Yeah, and you're welcome to try. You guys do give away a handful of cards to sign up. So if you're curious about it while we're talking, you're welcome to start your first squad and get a sense of it.
You're a great sales guy for us.
That's to me in this space. That's the word of advice I give to anybody who wants to understand it: is just get into it and try it, compete, see what you like, what you don't like. But and along those lines, when I'm explaining kind of the arc of crypto in sports, I break it down into collectibles, competition, and community. And I think collectibles came first. Like, okay, I can own this, I can speculate on this, and then we get into this question of utility. I've heard people call it NFT 2.0, this idea of doing stuff with NFTs. Where do we think we are on the general arc of mainstream sports fans understanding what these can do and being interested in working them into their ways of experiencing sports?
Yes. So this is exactly the unique feature of our company compared to other projects, especially in the sports space, that have also launched in the last couple of years. When Sorare was founded on the idea that you can take the best of NFTs, so that's the portability of NFTs, the ability to move it as you would a digital, as a physical item, the traceability of it to ensure authenticity and scarcity, which underpins the value of it all. But that wasn't enough. The collectible side of it wasn't enough. It was, what else can somebody do with an NFT? What can that unlock? And that's where the idea of combining the gamification with it arose. And that's been the core value of our company, is the utility of that. So that's been, it might be NFT 2.0, but for us, it's been our day one mission. And I think it's been a big part of our success to date. And I think we will continue to look for new ways, and as the future in our roadmap, there'll be lots of different ways, whether it be with our league and club partners, with athletes, unlocking experiences, unlocking content. The mission will always be to drive that utility and value of an NFT.
Yeah, so physical experience, is that something you want to offer through Sorare?
Potentially, yes. I think that the physical world, the digital,
world,
we can get all confused about the digital and the physical world, but I do think that our platform and NFTs more generally will unlock experiences and items from the physical world, whether that be an in-stadium item or piece of merchandise or more scalable content or exclusive access.
And what is the role of the athlete? We've seen athletes put out their own NFTs. Some of them have gone well, some have gone poorly. How do you envision the athlete fitting into this ecosystem?
So Web3 is all about the athletes, and I think we will, on our platform, we want the athletes to be the key piece. And we've talked before, how can we personalize NFTs in the future around athletes? How can we help build communities between our users and the athletes so that there's a transactional relationship, but also we're helping the relationship between those, and I think we can really build communities around athletes on our platform.
Yeah, fantastic. To me, talking to you, your personal story and entry into Sorare, into this space, I think says a lot about what's attractive here and maybe where things are going. So why don't you walk people through where you were before, what you do, and what jumped out to you about this opportunity?
Yeah, so I was an early employee at DraftKings and joined in early 2015 and worked across various functions of the company as we went through our ups and downs. And what I saw in DraftKings and Sorare is a similar idea of engaging the fan in a shifting media landscape, whether it be through DFS or sports betting. And I saw in this product something really similar, just a new innovative way to drive that connection between the fan and the on-game content. And so it's really been one continuous theme, and hopefully we've tapped into something special here where we'll have a similar meteoric rise as I did at my last job.
Yeah, absolutely. And part of that is geographic, right? So you mentioned launched in France, soccer heavy, Europe heavy to start. Part of the reason you're brought on is to grow in the US. How's that going? How is the US market been treating you?
Yeah, so there's a key, we have some core goals this year. Of course, we're soccer to date. We want to be the dominant player in global soccer. So we're focused on procuring all of the top licenses in the world, whether it be at the club level or at the league level or with national teams, international federations. So it's absolutely our goal to continue to strengthen our foothold in soccer. But at the same time, the US market is a huge goal, as a huge project of ours, and this year we've been spending a lot of time. We opened up an office in New York. We're quickly growing our team here in New York, and we expect this year to launch with 2 US sports, which will be a really exciting milestone for the company. And I think as it's great to see a lot of people have heard of us, but hopefully by this year we will be much more of a household name among sports fans.
I think I saw a few eyes light up when you said you're growing your team. So tell me, maybe we'll get that question too. What are you looking for? How can we find you? Yeah,
well, we have our head of people here, and a quick plug for our happy hour event we're doing tomorrow for those interested. Right now, we expect to triple our team by the end of this year. So there's tons of open positions, sorare.com/careers, right? Yeah, there you go.
You got the plug down now.
So there's no shortage of available jobs, and one of the things we've been fortunate, I think has been a key part of our success, is acquiring the top talent in the world, people interested in moving into Web3 and everything that we're doing, and so we're always on the look for really smart people.
Yeah, along those lines, part of my job at Sportico is convincing editors that the stuff happening in the space is noteworthy and important. And for you, when y'all launched in the US, some of the names, mention some of the companies that people came from to say, Sorare is worth jumping from X to here. Yeah,
so my colleague Kiana and Paige, both from Facebook and Lyft, respectively. And we've hired 3 or 4 people from ESPN who are instrumental in building the fantasy product into what it is today, as well as some of the top engineers from Google, and Postmates. And so it's been really fun to get to meet a lot of people and see a common interest. I think everybody's walked away from pretty good situations, but all very excited about what we're building here.
Yeah, so when I think of projects in this space, it comes down to 3 categories to me, really. It's the team that you're able to hire, it's the partners that you're able to get, and it's the fans that you're able to onboard. So, the team coming along well, it sounds like, and growing. Maybe some people in here are future Sorare employees. Tell me about the partners. What are they looking for? How are those conversations going?
Yeah, so we've been fortunate to build an extensive network, as I said before, of over 200 partners to date in just a couple of years. And it's been great. I think for our partners, of course, we're offering a new incremental revenue stream that did not exist yesterday. And I think that's valuable. Yeah. That's always important. But even more so, I think the strategic value of what we're building is really important. So even in the world of soccer, where we bring on the K-League and somebody in Spain who's typically watching La Liga, we've seen through our surveys and our studies that we're exposing people to new leagues and new players that they wouldn't have watched before. And in particular, in our conversations in the US, I think the partners we've spoken to are really attracted to the fact that we started in global soccer, and we have a user base spread throughout the US and Asia, Latin America, and Europe, of course, and we're investing heavily in those markets. And as the US leagues look to grow internationally, I think this is the perfect product that's been made for those goals. You can think of a young person in the US who owns a Mike Trout or Anthony Davis card, and they want to trade it for the Mbappe card. And across sports, the pollination that we can create, I think, is something that will be really incredible in the power of our platform.
And I could see that between seasons too, right? Maybe you own a card during the NFL season, then maybe you're able to flip it for an NBA card to continue generating value.
Totally. The trades among sports and the interactions, and that's the thing with the NFTs and crypto is, 1 + 1 = 3, because the value of the liquidity in the marketplace and the sum is greater than the parts. And I think that's why building a strong network with lots of partners will hopefully make us a predominant player.
Yeah, and it's interchangeable. You talked about the user base. Is it crypto nerds? Is it people who are all in, or is it sports fans? Or what's the trend?
Yeah, no, I think we have a wide swath. One of the things that we've tried to do as a company is we don't use the word crypto too much, or you won't hear anyone at Sorare say they work at a crypto company. What we really have built is a product and platform that leverages the best of blockchain, but is really just a gaming platform. And so, for instance, the way the product's built, you can deposit money on a credit card to purchase the cards. You can withdraw it on your credit card, and you might not even realize or be actively aware that you're holding a crypto asset. And what that allows is a frictionless, one-click purchase, similar to what you would see on Amazon. And that has allowed us to move past the endemic crypto nerd, as you would say, or endemic NFT user, and really, I think will be critical for us as a company as we scale into the more casual sports fans.
Yeah. And for the partners, what are their concerns? There's 1 million startups. You've raised a lot of money. That obviously is a sign of credibility. What are their questions? What are they asking you? What are the concerns that they have as they get into the space for their time, or maybe even figure out what this space is for them?
Yeah, there's a lot of excitement. I think it's more positive than negative, of course. But there's lots of different questions. We spend a lot of time and I spend a lot of time in my role assuring partners that we have an incredible team, as we just talked about, a stellar product, and that we can be a strong steward of your brand. I mean, at the end of the day, this IP is the most important thing to clubs, leagues, partners, unions, and we take very seriously that responsibility. So we spend a significant amount of time on the outreach and the diligence. But I think this market, as you mentioned, is moving really quickly too, and everybody is trying to figure out the best way. How do we delineate subcategories in NFTs? And the key thing that we spend a lot of time with our partners talking about is scarcity, because really we all owe it to the customers and the fans not to oversupply the market in terms of the licensors. The partners have a duty not to go do deals with 7 Sorares. Could the market sustain it? And we have our duty ourselves to really monitor scarcity, which is one of the core principles that we spend a lot of time focusing on as well.
Raise your hands, how many people owned a baseball card in 1991? This may sound similar to a few of you, yeah. I think that's, and so for you personally, that means this year, is hypercritical, because if you want to be the one or the one of a very small number of companies that does a deal with the biggest leagues around the world, there's a lot of competition, and it's critical to the success of the company. Yeah, no,
it's been an interesting time, and I think this has been probably one of the most active areas in the sports business today, and the conversations seem to be happening all at once, unfortunately for me, but all across the world in soccer, here in the US, and you're right, it tends to be a bit binary. It's either you get the license or you don't. Yeah. Where we've been fortunate is we are the incumbent player here in terms of this new category. We created it, and I think we've already built up a good network. So I think the partners, we've been fortunate to see us as the obvious choice, although there is a lot of work that goes into it.
Sure, right, yeah, don't take yourself out of a job there.
Yeah.
Already. One more question, then we'll get to your question, so feel free to start lining up or standing up. And it's along those lines that we were talking about, but where do you see this going? Is it 2 or 3 years where you think, that the market will be reached, or how long of an arc are we talking about? How early do you think we are in this space?
So it's definitely early. Things, as I said, this company Sorare's only been around for 4 years, and some of our licensing deals, the U.S. sports, we're just launching now. So I think it will take some time, but the trends that we're seeing and the growth has been tremendous. As I said before, in 2020, we went from 7 million to last year doing over 325 million in sales volume. So, and that's all organic. So I think that we've tapped into something special, that it won't take that long. I think that we'll see these numbers in this category grow pretty quickly in the coming months and years.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, thank you all, really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you guys.